Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video, and this one is a little bit different. I actually have no photos of my own. It's all memorabilia, postcards, brochures, that kind of thing. And as you can see, this is from the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam. So I have a couple of postcards. I have this one which shows the bookcase that opened and they hid behind there. I have a bookmark that I got in the gift shop. Another postcard of Anne at her desk. And then this was a booklet that you could buy for 50 cents effectively. And it tells all about inside the Anne Frank house and what it was like when they were hiding. And so I don't want to tear this apart. I want to use it as is, and it will actually fit in this vertical 4x6 pocket. So my plan is to just put it in there as is. I don't think I'll decorate it or anything. And then I also have this. This was from the bag that I got when I bought this stuff. And I loved that it had their logo on there, and I want to do something with it. It is cut to a 4x6, so it will fit as is. Or no, I guess it's smaller than a 4x6. So I could put it on a backing of some kind. And then I don't know if I want to put anything else on it. If I did, I'm not sure what that would be, but I'm open to it. So it's just a matter of putting these all together. And while I have a 6x8 over here, and that's pretty standard, this is somewhat unusual. I don't do a lot of vertical 4x6s, but this is an insert that is made by close to my heart, and so it's certainly an option. I have them, I just don't use them a whole lot. So we will see how all of this comes together. Because I'm working with a 6x8 on the left, I have pulled out all of my pre-cut 6x8 papers. So I will go through there and see if anything will work as a background. And I didn't really pay attention to this before, but there is this extra space here on the side. I'm not exactly sure why they chose to do that with the photo. And at first I thought, oh, I'll just cut it down. I might not. I may leave it, and then, it'll sit on the page like this. It's almost end to end. And I could maybe do a strip of washi there or some embellishment or something. I'm not sure. But for now, I'm not going to cut off that white strip. I'm going to keep it. And then I also pulled out, in the same bin where I keep these 6x8 papers, I pulled out some specialty papers. They tend to all be 8x8, but they are vellum or transparency. I pulled those as well. Honestly, I don't remember what all I have in here. So it'll be a good chance for me to go through there and see if anything is good. And then I also pulled out these, and these are from Stampin' Up. It's a set of vellum papers. And I thought maybe some of these might be doable because if you look at them, they have like newspaper print. It's kind of hard to see it here because it's white on white. Let's see if this helps. Yeah, that's a little better. So it makes it look like newspaper column writing on there. And then this one, also white, but it has a script font in white. I also have these same exact papers. They also come with black script, so that may match better, but I do have them. And so I thought, well, maybe something in here will kind of give it that old world European feel, but still showcasing the postcard. All right, well, I have two options here that I like, and I'm having trouble deciding. I wasn't thinking I would go with such a dark background, but there is black in the bookmark. There is black and white photo here, plus some black print. And there are darker elements here. When you put these next to each other, I think it actually looks okay. So I am considering that one. This is what's on the other side, by the way, very like snake skin. I don't like that at all. But this side, it's understated, but it's elegant, it's dark, it's more of a somber tone, which I think is appropriate given that it's the Anne Frank house. So I like that one, and the color that's in the paisley works well with this tan here. So I do like that one. But I also like the idea of this one, of having that black newsprint behind it. And because it is history related, I felt like that sort of style of newspaper writing might be fitting, and it does look okay with all of this. So I think I have to decide which one I feel would be a better fit. The other thing I have to keep in mind is that on the other side of this 6x8 there will be something there, And vellum is, you know, somewhat transparent. It's opaque. You can see partly through it. I don't know what's going to be on the back side of that. Obviously, I can tweak it to what I need as I go if I choose to use this one, but it's definitely something that I do need to think about. I've decided to go with the newsprint. I just feel like that's the best fit here. But so that means I have to cut this down to a 6x8. So I'm going to do that now. My trimmer here. So my 6, and then it leaves me with a nice 6x12 left, which is great. And then I'll also have a 4x6 left after I do this. So just one nice thing about the 6x8 size is that I still have a lot of this left that I can use for something else. In deciding what else I'm going to do with this, I have pulled out my stamp set here that's all about history and museums and things of that nature. I thought maybe there's a way I can either stamp right on here, maybe even do something along the side, but I have them if I want to use them. And then I also have a bag of stuff that's all about art and museums, and I know that in these phrases there's a bunch of stuff about history. It's not just art. And then I don't remember all what's in these, so I need to look at those as well. And then these are much more geared towards art specific things, so I won't use those. But I think there were some history things in here that maybe I could cut out part of the card or the tag or something. So I'm gonna look at all of these and see what else I can do to build this page. I have a couple of things I want to use here. I have this card and it says historic on it right there, and it's the right color scheme. It matches really well with the map. So I think what I may do is cut it in half and let some of it peek out down here somewhere, and then maybe use the top half up top to decorate. And then I also have this tag here that was in this set of all the history stuff. The blue matches what's on the book over here, and the fact that it has a star, and this is about a Jewish family that had to hide. I just figured like it's a theme. We'll just say that. It's very difficult, but it's a theme, and I feel like it's respectful yet still lets me embellish in a way to help bring the page together. Okay, so I have that cut down and I tucked that underneath, and I do really like the way that looks. So I have these two pieces left, and I think I'm going to do this one up here. I left this unadhered so I could get it where I want it. So I think maybe like that, and then maybe like that to overlap. I do like the way that looks, so I think I'll go with that placement. I have picked out some of the phrases that were in the museum and history little bag of stuff that I had, mixing and matching a little bit here. So I have history happened here, and then I have building that I'm going to place under historic. That's probably all I will do on that page. I've picked out a couple maybe that are going to work over here as well, but I still need to sort of play around with that. But this one I like. It's very sedated. It's very reserved. It's very respectful. That is what I want. And so I think this is what I'm going to go with. I may also do some ink splattering on it to give it more of an aged feel. But for now, this is what I'm going with as you see it here. I've decided that I am going to do some inking. I'm going to use this one that I have right here, Glimmer Mist. And this one is called Light Rosewood. And I realized that because vellum is a slick surface, this probably will not soak in very well. But I'm going to dab it, and then if it smears, it'll just give it an even more aged look, and that's totally fine. There we go. I think that's probably enough. We'll let it soak into the regular paper items, and then I will see what will happen with the vellum. I've let this dry a little bit, and you can see it actually did kind of become more opaque on the vellum, but you can still see it. It's a very, very light, very subtle. I'm going to just keep it that way. I'm not going to add more because you can see it on these papers much better. So I feel like that's enough. I don't want to mess with that too much. So this side is probably done. The only thing I might add is like a little strip of washi here maybe in this blue, but I haven't totally decided. But for now, I'm just going to move that over here, and I'm going to start working on this section. I actually decided to take that other portion that I had of this same vellum paper, cut it down into a vertical 4x6. So now I still have one of those left, and then I have a longer strip from the edge, so that's cut out of what I already had, and hopefully I can use those for something else. But I liked the idea of it matching. And I know that on the back side of this will be the postcard, so nothing really is going to show through. You won't even really be able to see those words, so that works out really well. And then I've already attached the bookmark, and then here I'm just going to use these phrases that say walking the path of history. I decided to actually take just a little snippet of that same vellum and attach it over top just so that you wouldn't see the 50 euro thing there. I felt like it was really distracting. So I have that there, and now everything matches. There's some of that in every spot here on this side of the layout, so I can put that in there. And then over here I did decide to add just a strip of plain thin blue washi to match, and so this side is done. I'm going to put that in the pocket or in the page, and then I'll flip over and finish the other side of this. For this back side, I actually decided to cut off all the white border of this postcard and cut it down to make it look more like an actual photograph. And then I'm going to put it right on the back of this vellum. I thought maybe I would do something else, but I kind of like the way that looks, and you don't really need to read the paper, obviously. It's just something that's there in the background. So I have that, and then I have this, which I could actually, I just realized I could actually cut it down just a little bit and adhere it right to the back of the booklet if I wanted to, and then it would stay better. That might be the best option. I wouldn't put vellum on vellum like I did here. And you know what? I think I will. I'll just do that, and then I might do some little phrase right here. I did cut down the vellum from the bag there and put it on top so you can just see a little bit of the border peeking out, which I liked. It makes it not completely black and white, which is a nice sort of break with a little pop of color there. But I have that on there, and I purposely just strategically used adhesive behind here so you wouldn't see the tape runner showing through. So now all I have left is to find a phrase of some kind for here. I've decided to try something, and I hope it works out. I'm going to stamp in white right on the bottom of this postcard, and I want to use the stamp that says absorbing all the history here, and there's a little arrow and it will point down to the Anne Frank house, which I think is quite appropriate. If I screw it up, I do have labels big enough to cover that, or I can put a colored piece of paper or something, but I'm hoping that if I stamp it very, very carefully, it'll be okay. The white stamping that I did not come out very well. It didn't like this slick surface here, so that's not going to work. So I chose to find a scrap of green. I stamped it in black instead, and then I will just cut this down and cover it. And it actually works out okay, because then you can see that green peeking through. I think that'll look quite nice together. All right, there we go. I cut it down to the size I wanted. This is still a little long, so I'm going to just trim off that little piece on the side. And then actually, I just realized I can't staple through it because there's something on the other side, but I can pry it up a little bit, put a staple in, and then glue it back down, hopefully. Yes, okay. There we go. So now it doesn't look so blank on the left-hand side. So now we can put that in, and hopefully this layout is done. Let's take a look and see what we think of it here. So this is this side. And then when you flip, you'll see this side. This probably won't stay put very well, but I'm totally okay with that. Yep, I think I think that's it. And I will say, if you are in Amsterdam and you have the chance to visit, please go to the Anne Frank house. It's full of history that we all need to know as human beings who live on this planet. It's very, very difficult. I basically cried halfway through till the end, but it's very worthwhile. It's meaningful, and please do it if you have the chance. So here's another one finished for Amsterdam. Thanks for watching.